Welcome to the second session of AB Talks Connect with the Students. But thank you all for joining from different locations. At least some of the folks that I connected today, they are from India, Pakistan, and US. And then I see that there are few who will be joining soon from other geographies. This is the second session, and this is getting stronger, better. And I promise you guys that there will be more leaders connect that I'm planning to do, and I will try to do it once in every month. So, Navisha, thanks for joining. And I was just giving the brief of this audience, and this audience is mixed from like US, India, Pakistan. There are few folks might be joining from other locations, but overall, this recording gonna be shared with a group where I see as of today there are close to 692 members, and I've been requesting this audience just to be active and be feedback ready, and then take the feedback and probably work on it. So the last time when we had discussion, I had this with one of my friends. He's working at Google. He's a senior engineering manager, worked in AI ML, and I think he is taking care of some Gemini launch. So he talked about his struggles starting from Wipro and then working through multiple phases, then finally landing in at Google. And then obviously he's very successful. So then I thought, since I have already set the bar, the next bar should be higher than the last one. So that's where, Navisha, I thought inviting you. And you've been humble enough to join me on this conversation. So, but maybe I think, Navisha, if you want to just start with your introduction first.
Sure, thanks, Anil, and really happy to join back again. I think for some of you who might have seen my earlier podcast with Anil, you would know me. But for those who are new and joining across the globe, my name is Navisha. I have been now in the technical sales background for around 15 years, close to 15 years. Started my journey in India and now based in Singapore. So I've been from not a very high-end college as well, have had upper medium kind of a lifestyle. So I can relate and I work with Anil on this initiative because I think the journey looks very similar for a lot of you. It was like me when I just started, had no coaching, no mentoring, in fact. So please do make use of this best opportunity that you have. But for those who don't know me, my name is Navisha. I started my journey in a startup and then I did my Bachelor's of Commerce from Delhi University. I was a pass out from DPS Noida. I have been a Delhiite all my life. So yeah, mostly born and brought up in Delhi, the only child of my parents. I did my Bachelor's of Commerce from Delhi University, and then I did work for 1 year to understand what was my strong skill set, and then re-enter back corporate or teaching or anything that I wanted to do at that point of time. And at that point of time, IT was not very promising as well, especially for a woman or for a girl. So I see a lot of young girls as well. So it was a very tough time. Then the recession came in and all of that happened. So after my bachelor's, I decided to work for 1 year. I worked for 6 months at Protivity as a knowledge consultant. And then for 6 months, I worked in a oil and gas company as a procurement specialist and a sales specialist. And after that, I did my master's in commerce from Delhi School of Economics because I had the same background. And post that, I started working even before I could actually get a placement. I did work and I got to understand that I wanted to work in sales and marketing. So I got an internship, which I found on my own in December holidays, which we had at that point of time. And then the last year of my finals, I did it with my internship because I got a pre-placement. And then I also helped a lot of the students in my college who were good to get placed in the same company. And post that, I started working for 1.5 years in that company, built my skills, and then I moved to Google on a vendor payroll. I was not a direct Googler that you would say, but yeah, that was tough. Worked for 2 years in Google, and then I in the cloud division, which was G Suite. So I was an account manager for G Suite, which is the product which we all are using today, which is Gmail, Drive, everything that you use, Hangouts, everything that you use. I used to sell that. And then post that, I moved to Microsoft I was there for 8.5 years across Southeast Asia and India. So I did roles like I was a sales and marketing specialist for 2 years. All throughout those 5 years, I was an Azure specialist though. But I didn't have any background, but I learned cloud, did a lot of hard work to get in through cloud. And then I worked to manage some of the top partners for 1.5 years. And post that, I moved to Singapore as enterprise specialist for modern work, which is Outlook and all of those product features that you know, Teams, the more popular ones. And then post that, I worked as an Azure leader for SMB segment in Southeast Asia, managing the entire Southeast Asia part. And recently, around 5 months back, I moved to a cybersecurity company by the name of Armored Defense as the regional leader for APAC. So in short, that's been my journey. I've been a bit descriptive about it, so feel free to stop me and ask me at any given point of time, because maybe these companies might sound familiar, but the role types, if you go on my LinkedIn profile, would be very different. If you have questions around it, do feel free to ask me, raise your hand. We'll be happy to address all the questions that you have during the session.
So thank you so much, Navisha. And I have some of the questions that came from a student as part of like my question gathering in the past. So I want to start with some of the questions that I already have, and then probably I would give the control to the audience to give you the live questions. So the first one, and you and I discussed in the podcast when we had last time, that time we were at Microsoft. The
That's
challenge is growing bigger. And some
right.
of the stats that I've seen, service companies are struggling. And that Anthropic has actually disturbed. So Gartner is down by 50%. Accenture lost 30% of their share. And this is happening across all the service companies, while and even the companies like Google and Microsoft struggled because of this AI race. So with that, things are moving really fast. Even those who are already part of the game, they are feeling left behind. And I recently put something from my vibe coding, and I started coding again. So that is kind of, and I did it after 6 7 years, right? So just think about it. The fear of missing out is definitely real. And so one thing which I observed, there is more problem, and because freshers who are not directly seeing these news firsthand, there is a lot of FOMO and there is definitely a lot of nervousness. First question is challenges that freshers are facing for hiring and how to cope up with.
Sure, Anil. I think that's a very, very relevant question. In fact, while I've been a part of this role, I've moved from a very big organization to a startup kind of an environment. But one thing which remains very constant is the change because of AI and automation. So that still continues to be a very, very important piece that we want to solve for new entrants, freshers, but at the same time, there are learnings. I won't call them as challenges, or I won't put it as challenges as well for freshers, because I see this challenge because freshers are not prepared. To be very honest, I think now it's not a very stereotypical journey like before, where you can aim to be a doctor, engineer, or be a computer science engineer with your streams of specialization. Now it's changing every single day. So, my first thing that I would request everyone to be on the call is to be vigilant on the new impactful things that you see in AI. Because while I hire or I work with my engineering team and product teams, the first thing is the skills mismatch. Why they are not getting hired, whether it's Singapore, whether it's Southeast Asia, whether it's India. Many graduates are coming with theoretical knowledge. They are not coming with job ready skills, which means AI tools. Like, I keep a very simple question, even to an HR person who's getting hired, which tools you are using to actually, in AI tools are you using to actually give a prompt, or do you know what a prompt is? And majority of the times I see people who are not even ready for a prompt. So think about AI tools, that's fine, but data literacy on AI, any cybersecurity awareness, anything on AI, like maybe that you're doing, that needs to be addressed. Because I think that's one of the main, because entry level, the second thing is, I think a lot of freshers have a lot of higher expectations for entry level roles. We should have a good package, we should be in a better company. I'm seeing these challenges. Why? Because they are real time. Because whether it's a startup, whether it's a OEM, like entry level no longer means no experience. Employers like a startup or any company will look for practical exposures. How many projects you've done in your BTech, MTech? What are the kind of internships that you have done in your free time of 15 days, 20 days? Udemy, Coursera, very, very important. Free courses, paid courses, language courses. I see a lot of people are now also doing language courses to get expertise on showing that they have some knowledge. Then familiarity with AI tools, which is maybe on mobile, maybe when you're taking a metro ride, cab ride, it's not a lot. How are we getting skilled? People like Anil and me, who belong to maybe some time back, we are not the Gen Zs. We did not have access to so many internet or cabs, or maybe we were not as proficient. But AI tools like ChatGPT, are you using it on daily basis? Copilot, any analytical platforms that you're using? These can be good to start with and showcase that, hey, I'm using these tools. I know how to use these tools. I can create a problem solving. Claude and Anthropic and vibe coding, why it's flourishing is because it's cutting down your daily productivity by maybe 50-60%. You don't need an
Yep.
engineer who's going to design a code for you and come back in 10 days. It can be done in half a day. So, are you able to demonstrate that? Are you getting stuck? YouTube is a brilliant example where you can learn some. Then we have so many of these paid internships that you can do, or even free internships that you might get access to. Because in the AI world, every organization wants to scale fast, and no one is prepared,
Yep.
to be honest. There is no organization on the planet right now which will be fully prepared because people are learning, engineers are learning, students are learning, we are learning. Anyone who joins the organization will also learn down the curve. But freshers have an advantage because they will come with a fresh mindset. So it's not that they won't get hired. But freshers who would only rely on degrees will always struggle to stand out. Then I think AI replacing repetitive junior tasks. Like earlier, we used to have a lot of documentation, testing, basic analysis, which was done by interns or people who were starting new in a lot of these departments. But that raises the bar, right? Now, the freshers or interns that we are seeing come out of college from brilliant colleges also. Some lack creative thinking, but some have brilliant thinking. And we see all these times on television that a lot of these startup founders are coming. Everyone is coming from even IITs, IIMs, because they're just debating, they're just brainstorming. And contextual understanding and business awareness needs to be very high nowadays. Are you able to apply what you have learned? Have you been able to create something new? And I think the lack of continuous learning mindset, because technology, like you said, Anil, is evolving fast. Online courses, hands on projects will help you. And I think the last point that I would really want to reinforce is communication, very important. So learn more about it. Adaptability. These are some of the soft skills gap that I see. I'm not just covering the hard skills which you can take immediately, but soft skills improve your communication. It takes a lot of time. It will not come over time. And that is the key for everything that you do in corporate jobs because the way you carry yourself, the way you are perceived, the way you communicate with your bosses, with your stakeholders, with your external audiences, maybe customers, maybe partners, maybe so many of us in the organization, that's really important. And then the adaptability. Are you able to adapt in a fast changing environment? Those who are not adapting, they feel the pressure. They are not skilling, they feel the pressure. They are forced to think, are we a good fitment for the organization? Critical thinking. I think a lot of us would only want to learn, be in the rat race and get good grades or CGPAs. We don't want to do that. We want to do that, but critical thinking is why. If I tell you to maybe give me a design or a Newton law rule or a motor, how to design a motor, you will be brilliant. But if I tell you a real critical problem that, hey, how using AI can you do a project which revolves coding around an agentic platform that we can create for chatbot, something like that. That is the main thing. And collaboration. Working in teams where there are different people, different organizations, have different team cultures, right? Can you adapt to them fast? So I think AI will always be able to do tasks faster, but humans will always be needed to drive judgment, relationship, strategy, and be the voice of the organization, right? Like you can't have AI do everything. So how do you make your skill set so heavy or so relevant that people are forced to think, okay, we need this person because this person will add XYZ things for us? And I think lastly, what I actually gathered was start with some fundamental courses, right? For Google, I see AI for everyone, AI concepts, basic codes, Microsoft AI fundamentals, AI 900. Students, tech freshers, they're all doing it. Even IBM AI Foundations, again, it's on Coursera. While I was just looking at what I could help you with, even non-coding people can start doing that. And if you just look at if this is not good, then maybe you can see deeplearning.ai, machine learning. There you can have tech inclined courses on Coursera, or Udemy has beginner AI and Python courses. They're very, very budget friendly. But if you have to improve, you have to learn these two, three. There's Amazon AI practitioner course as well. So I think these three, four courses, or even one course to start with, is good. It won't just give you a good mindset, but it will force you to think whether you're good for these jobs also, or whether you want to do it or not also. The first thing is intent. Are you clear you want to do it? Then you work on it. So I think the challenges will keep getting solved once you solve those one by one and do these things which can help you challenge and do these things better.
Very well articulated, Navisha. And this is where I think I thought putting few blocks, Lego
Yeah.
blocks for this, I would say, a student audience. So what I tried doing it, like giving them very structured 60 days coding challenge. And this is like out of discussion that we had in the past. How do we create that path? So just before our connect, I started getting very good feedback that this is giving them something to work on daily, right? So I believe that structured learning, some of this is getting solved. And second thing, very important point that you mentioned, I connected with someone who worked at Cisco and WebEx. I put this on my LinkedIn recently. This guy told AI is not going to get a job if you are creative,
That's
which
right.
means if you are able to comprehend well, if you are able to communicate well, if you have empathy, and if you are creative in the work that you are doing. So I was telling that there is a guy who I connected with. He's from Bay Area. He's in third year, and he started doing podcast. And
Oh,
I asking like, why you started doing podcast? Why is it really required part of your curricular or something like that? He said, Anil, I'm below average student. I was struggling to get my first internship, and then suddenly I was doing research. So one thing came out very clearly: if I am outspoken, if people can see me, there will be more opportunities. And he's saying like, I'm just doing last 1 year, and I have more than 100 interns offer from US, from good companies. And he
that's amazing.
mentioned some of the great companies like Tesla and others. So just think about it, just one out of the crowd thing he did, and he did very passionately. He set it up his calendly for blocking any podcast slot with him. So he did very organized. Even I learned something from him today. So just one thing standing out from the crowd, he got 100 offers of interns, right? And one thing that while speaking to this group earlier, when they are posting that they have done 10 of 60 days coding challenge, I
Yeah,
see that there are new folks coming in because this LinkedIn algo is working for them.
that's
Their
right.
post is getting visible, and people are like start commenting. I'm pretty sure that I will not be even required to help them. After they complete 60 days of coding challenge, people will come and pick them because they are already trained. So I believe you very well articulated. As a follow up, I want to ask another question. And this, I believe, people like me have done a lot of search on the internet earlier. What any individual could do to get selected in companies like Google or Microsoft, especially for this audience?
Yeah, I think especially both the companies, our dream companies for a lot of us, have always been fortunate enough to be a part of both. And I also want to call out, Anil, that's a great, firstly, it's a great initiative, the 60 days challenge. So I think kudos to all of you who's participating. It's just going to make you more prepared for what's going to come ahead of you. But this question I'm going to answer with a mix of both what I have felt, plus my research, plus how I'm also coaching, mentoring some of the others, right? So it's a blend of all three. You might have heard this maybe or seen on YouTube or maybe seen. Uh, Firstly, both these companies have a very, very tight interview process, selection process. Sometimes you might have heard the top 1% or the top 0.5% of the country or the world population will get through. So I think first thing for now is build the skills that match the future, not the past. Both companies now are like just one or two. Like, of course, we are looking at Google as number one these days, and then Microsoft comes in, and the order can always change. But first part is the AI piece, right? And how do you crack for this? So I think for now, I think if we just look at how you can get selected, it's a blend of how you should prepare, what you should do, and then how you should basically try to get ahead of the curve on these companies hiring process. The first part that I just want to like really communicate here is understanding the culture of the organization. Both the companies are very different. So whether you are looking at Microsoft or Google, the first part is you have to also read about which culture can you be a part of. For example, Google is a customer first, innovation, data driven decision kind of a company which really focuses on collaboration. They focus actually in the interview process on four part, which is the cognitive ability, which is problem solving. Very, very important. Now, this problem solving, I think I want to give an example in terms of it can be a basic example in your college, or it can be a basic example which you have done in your schooling, but you need to know how to tie the dots. So they'll ask you questions around which help the interviewer to feel that you're prepared, but also at the same time, how do you understand the culture of Google or Microsoft? Then there's a word named as googliness in Google, right? Which is humility and curiosity. That if you're working in a team, how friendly are you to adopt to these challenges? Or engineers who used to really look at their free time and create something new. Or they would say, we have completed a course. Or you, how do you build real projects to showcase in the interview, right? I built a chatbot using an LLM and deployed it on cloud, right? Use AI, but create something nice in your resume that sticks with them. Or you have created you upload everything to GitHub. Have you done something really? Have you helped someone? Have you done community service? Have you done some social service, right? Because they look at the total person. They just don't look at, okay, one skill, we are hiring you. Projects will always be greater than certificate. The third thing I think to summarize is think like a product person. Always. Customer obsession is very important. Think you are an end user, right? For example, if Navisha is an end user, and if I have to sell something or if I have to make something, what will I look in it? I will look at things like if there is a feature which is paid, like storage, right? We all run out of Apple storage, we all run out of Gmail storage. How do we increase that? How do we solve for the problem, right? Rather than giving a new way. Or you must have read about so many stories where there are so many engineers who solve these bugs for real companies and then they get hired because they have done
And
something.
been earning in like I've heard. Sorry to interrupt you, flow. I
Yeah,
heard something like they are getting like 10 or 20K as a bug bounty,
that's
right?
right. That's right,
20K.
Anil.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
that's more than like your 10 years salary,
Yes.
right? If you hired in in India, right? So 100K, 200K. This is what they are getting overall.
Absolutely, because I know that a lot of you are putting things on chat. I can't see it. We'll take all the questions, pose
Yeah,
this
we'll
question,
take.
or maybe we'll just break up mid-time. But the reason is these bugs or people who solve for them, they don't go thinking that, they are solving and they'll want a job. Sometimes I've also heard about cases where they've declined job offers because they don't want to only work in those companies, but they want to create something. And nowadays you see whether it's AI Impact Summit in India, where Modi orchestrated. Everyone came. It was Sundar Pichai, it was Brad Smith from Microsoft. Everyone came, right? We had Sam Altman from OpenAI, right? Everyone is coming. Why? Because India is the growing market. So scalability thinking. For example, you all see your parents go to Kirana stores. There's an example I'm picking real time in India when I was speaking to someone. There was a boy who was aged, you won't believe, around 14, 15 years. He's trying to create a code and have an application built for the Kirana agent that how many people are visiting his store every day. Just imagine. So if a 15, 16-year-old guy can be so curious, wants to scale, and is thinking with that mindset, then you have many others. Like we have everyone on the call who should think like that. Then the impact mindset. Like I said, you need to focus on your outcomes. Whenever you're giving an answer, whenever you're answering something to anyone, what was the impact? It was not just about thinking that, you did a social service, there was no impact. Of course, there is an impact for everything that you do. I maybe you can articulate in a way where you say, I did this social service, I planted or helped to grow a plant in that community service that I did, and that led to 50x oxygen that got generated in the community. So you have to think ahead, show your structured thinking, and then use data always in your answers. Don't give vague answers because I think for every role there are around 1,000 applications I hear. How do you strike out? The way you communicate, the way you show up. So explaining, having structured your storytelling, having some executive presence and some style in your thinking format, right? Answering to the point, not going in bushes, right? You're just telling stories which are not even sounding real. So communication has to be a highlight because you can be brilliant at what you do, but practicing how you communicate. For example, if I am not able to tell you my journey, you will say, we don't like this podcast on it, right? So having that connection with your audience, having your connection with the interview, thinking, stopping, if you don't know an answer, being honest, can I answer it this way? I know only this much. I think I have the mindset to grow to X from Y, right? I will do these 3 steps to grow. So I think that's the way you start approaching these problems. Then understanding the culture. Like I said, for Google,
Yeah.
a lot around the questions that I said around your thinking, problem solving, data driven situations, collaboration, googliness, which is your nature, humility, curiosity, how do you show up for Microsoft, growth mindset, learning it all, customer first approach, which I've always seen has been there, but read about their leadership principles and align examples accordingly. On both Google and Microsoft websites, if you go under the career section, there are interview tips and tricks. A lot of people ignore them, don't go through it, and they say this is just random stuff, we don't want to read it. The answer to a lot of questions will be there only. So whenever you are interviewing in any company, leave apart Google Mic, go through their website, go through their leadership principles, go through their about us section. It will always make the interviewer feel you are more prepared. You have come prepared, right? You're not coming like a clean blank slate to the interview. You know something about them. You are there not to waste their time. Like when I interview, I have also seen people who just put their video off and don't even care to tell me what they've done, right? So you want to see a very serious person who's coming prepared for these big tech companies. The last
Yeah.
thing is internship and referrals, both matter. Participate in hackathons. A lot of these companies have paid internships, summer internships, winter internships. So keep applying for those. It's there. I think on both the career portals, put email alert and apply for these internships, network on LinkedIn, make videos, attend these tech events, and reach out very thoughtfully to employees. I've seen so many people on LinkedIn reach out to me, hey Navisha, can you just refer me? No, that's not the right way, right? I
Even
don't.
sometimes they
Yeah.
even sometimes they don't say, "Can you refer me?" Hey, Navisha, and full stop.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. Anil
No
knows
one
about it
cares,
because he
right?
would say, as if Anil is their friend, right? Hi, Anil, can you refer me? That's not a very respectful way to even tell something. Instead, your style can be, can you, hi, Anil, or hi, Navisha, can you guide me on how to prepare for this role? I'm applying, or I would want your coaching guidance.
Couple of things I believe. One that you talked about, that command taker, right? No one wants to hire command taker anymore. So that I see even in my team, and people are different when they are from like joining calls from India versus those who are already on site. So they are more ownership driven. So definitely people don't need command takers. Second thing that Nabisha talked about, when you reach out. So Utkarsh, who's also on the call today, right? We never met in person. He just joined the community today. He has been reaching me out. I believe it's more than a month. He has been very honest about what he's looking for, very structured way of outreach. So I get at least 10, 20 outreach on a daily basis. But why I picked Utkarsh, just because the way he is doing. And maybe Utkarsh, I want to give you control for a minute,
Yes, sir.
right? And maybe just
Yeah.
wanted to know from you, how did you learn about this outreach?
So, am I audible, sir?
Yes, we can hear you,
You
Utkarsh.
are
Yeah, yeah.
audible.
So, sir, to be honest, when I started reaching out, actually, I started reaching out when I came to US, because in India we don't reach out that much to people, but in US you have to, because you connect with people and that's how you learn. So that's what I was learning in my college. So they taught me that it's not like Navisha just said, don't just text, hey Navisha, can you please refer me? That's truly, I mean, while I was working in India as well, I
Yeah,
worked as a data scientist. People used to reach out, but it was the only way that can you please refer me? I mean, I don't know you, to be honest, first of all.
yeah, that's
Is
right.
your profile really good? If it's good, then are you good at communication? If I am expecting this from someone, so someone will be expecting the same from me as well. That's why I always choose a structured way. And in a structured way, what I think I should do is I'll just say that's my educational background, sir. That's my professional background. And what I am looking for now and how I could be in a better position than I am today. That's what my thought process is. So that's how I approach people.
This is really helpful. And the last thing Navisha called out in the last podcast, I want to tell. So, probably if you are fit, it is not just like you need a job, right? People like Navisha, people like in my colleague, even I am looking for someone who's very sincere and serious about like how they put themselves, right? In terms of coding commitment, in terms of communication, in terms of showing up every day, right? We have more than 50 people on this call. Why we see only few on the camera? Why some of you are really showing up, making yourself registered? And that is the thing, right? That is the differentiation. If let's say that all this 50, 53, they all have their camera on, which means they are already one step ahead. And some of you even asking questions, some of you putting things, which means we have your attention and you have our attention, right? I'm not scrolling my Instagram on the side, right? If
Yeah,
I'm here, I'm completely here, right?
that's right.
So that is the thing. Now I believe there are few questions I want to pick, and Utkarsh asked a really good question here. I will just call it out for you. I actually worked as a data scientist for over 2 years back in India, and right now I'm in US pursuing my MS in business analytics and AI. Do you think doing some certification will help me out more, or building new projects related to specific businesses is more impactful?
So, firstly, Utkarsh, I want to also understand what exactly are you doing in the data scientist course that you're. Is there any master specialization that you're doing, or there is a generic course that you're doing?
So I am taking subjects related to data science only. So there are specific core subjects that I have to do. Those are mostly related to business analytics and predictive analytics. But I am focusing myself on the machine learning and large language models. Since I already worked as a data scientist, so I wanted to further work in this role only. That's why I am actually a bit confused that doing some certification will be more impactful, But I really feel that if I make some projects that could be actually more impactful on, let's just say, in finance domain or in supply chain domain, would they be more impactful? So that's where I'm a bit confused right now.
Okay. I think that's a good question because you want to see what you're doing makes sense for the future. So that's absolutely good, I would say. So first thing, Utkarsh, right? I'll answer it in two parts. The industry has shifted to generative AI, which you already know. So you are preparing yourself in terms of chatbots, document intelligence, and every company will have it. If not now, later. Recommendation systems using AI agents, etc., which I spoke to Anil also in one of our chats. So companies, whether it's startup, whether it's companies like Uber, Google, Microsoft, they're all building products now which are directly on LLMs. So employers would expect the engineers to expect how LLMs work, right? Like transformers, embeddings, right? How to fine tune or prompt them as well, and how to
Yes.
integrate them into real applications.
Yes,
So
perfect.
you have this theoretical knowledge of these three, I guess, but you
Yes,
need
I got all.
internship to
Yes,
understand.
I
Maybe you can pick up something in manufacturing, or
okay.
maybe you can pick up something in retail where there is a lot of data and create something. Because classical machine learning alone is not no longer enough. Like I don't like people who say, okay, we know machine learning. Now,
Yes,
traditional skills when we were in college, like regression, clustering,
yeah,
boost, right? I have heard about
yes,
it, are still
yes,
important. They're all
yeah,
important. If you don't know, your foundation is not there. But a person who has the right foundation can build something on top of it, like LLMs, ML plus data engineering will make you job
yes.
ready. So you
Okay,
have
so
LLMs, you have
yeah,
machine learning, you have data engineering. Now think of LLMs as the
mm,
new layer on top of your existing data science foundation. The foundation is there, you have worked. Now you need to think what you can do on top of it. Like, what's the
okay,
layer you want to add on it?
okay,
LLM skills will open more roles for you because you can work on, in terms of the big tech, I can instantly think of roles like applied machine learning engineer, generative AI engineer that I have seen. AI product solution roles, they are new roles. Only people who have done LLM specialization or data scientist, there is a prerequisite now. If you have
yes.
done this, then only you will get hired for an applied ML engineer, Gen AI engineer, NLP engineer, Gen AI focused data engineer. Without it, you are competing for fewer pure DS roles.
So one thing, Utkarsh, and I think you and I discussed during the day also, data science is a great foundation, and I see that there are repeated questions from other folks in the chat. Data science is important, but can you use your foundational knowledge to build, let's say, a graph RAG? If you can build agentic RAG, if you can build a chatbot or maybe with explainability, these are
Mhm.
the sources, right? Because chatbot building is very easy, but can you
Mm.
just go to the next level and show the transparency and traceability and probably the maybe the token usage part? How do we optimize? So if you do
Mm.
any of this, and this will, let's say that if you have already run 20 kilometers to complete a half marathon, that is just last 1 kilometer to
Yeah,
hit the milestone. So you have the foundation ready. Can you build a project like this? Show me. I will at least take you to two or three folks who are looking for this skill set,
sure, sir, for sure. I'll try my
right?
best. Look,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Utkarsh,
Passing back to you, Navisha.
yeah, just the last part of this is, which I think a lot of you might have, is that LLM, what kind of LLM learning will make sense for you? Not just theory, which
yeah,
I think I would want to reiterate. Don't take abstract courses, which I said to Utkarsh. First, you have to see, okay, if I am doing a foundation also to what Anil said, do you really want to do on these skills? You can also go for industry specialization kind of skills, right? Because in
mm,
healthcare, the RAG and agentic model will look very different. In
yeah,
others, it will look very different. So in fundamentals, you can see transformers, embeddings, attention, prompt engineering, right? Pick from first fundamentals what you want to do. Second, hands-on. Do you want
yes,
to work on RAG? You want to pick on document Q&A, simple fine-tuning of problems, right? All of that. And then you can learn via programs also. Doesn't have to be paid. Like I mentioned this categorically. A lot of people say, Anvisha, we are from tier two. We cannot afford such heavy courses, right? What do we do? I think a lot of us have a lot of free access which we don't use also. So first
exactly.
try seeing if you have something free. And there are a lot of free paid internships that you might see on LinkedIn, like Anil might have in his network. He might refer you, right? Something like that. I'm just giving a live example, which means
Mm.
Anil might get 100 requests of these. But because you're in the US and so is Anil, that's why I said OpenAI ecosystem, they are hiring a lot of people,
Mm.
Coursera, and then there are Microsoft AI and Gen AI paths. So I think if you're doing something similarly, month one, I would ensure that do your LLM fundamentals, prompt engineering, one generative AI introduction course. Month
Okay,
two, you should do a RAG project, which you can deploy on cloud maybe. And month 3, add portfolio on GitHub maybe, practice explaining projects clearly. So I think
Okay.
that help you in your interviews. Plus, it's going to help you in your internships. But pick something that you think you can do well because you worked before as well.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you for
I will
that.
go to the next question, just in the interest of time and for everyone. Like I know that when it gets very interesting, right, the time starts losing. So what we are going to do for next 11 minutes, because I have asked Navisha to give me 30 minutes, and we are definitely going to hit 1 hour. Be respectful for her time, so we can collate all your questions, and probably with the help of Navisha, we will circle back over the
Yeah,
email.
sure.
So,
We
right.
can do.
The next question, Navisha, we can still pick. It's more about like, how do we do? I want to grow as a Java developer. This is a very personal question to me, right? Because I recently posted on my LinkedIn that I started doing vibe coding, and this is the first time I used Claude, Anthropic, and I wrote end-to-end agent in Python. And I've been Java developer for a very long time. So there is a debate like, is Java taking over Python or Python taking over Java? I love your question, Karan. So Java is definitely going to stay. It's not something even today when enterprises are building apps, they are heavily relying on Java in terms of security, in terms of robustness. Java is still there. But yes, I see Python is also picking up the pace when the data is involved. So, in terms of machine learning, data science, data engineering, you say people are talking more about Python. But how do you can train yourself right now? People are not asking to just build one Spring Boot project and you'll be had just because AI is helping you to write code faster. So now, if you want to do something as your first project that you want to be talking about in your interview, I would still suggest like go end to end, build one application where you show about microservice, you talk about the database usage, and then you make maybe swagger presentation of end to end of your Java project. I think that will make you look outstanding rather than creating something which works in silos. But I'll pass it to Navisha if you want to add something.
I have something already. Anil has answered it in a brilliant way. So I'm being respectful. He's more on the tech side. But yeah, definitely what I have seen on the techies which are evolving in the market. I'm calling them techies because it's a mixture of both people who've done and learned with Java, but now with AI coming in, they are also reskilling themselves, right? So it's firstly, it's not Java versus Python. They are solving different problems, right? And both are here to stay. So I think at least from freshers or for people who are learning it, don't think one is going over the other. Java is not going to go anywhere because what I see, Java continues to dominate in large enterprise systems, banking, fintech platforms, telecom, and large scale backend services, right? And high performance, long running applications. So big organizations and platforms like Google, Microsoft, and others also rely heavily on Java for stable, mission critical systems, right? Java is being known mostly for a strong performance, scalability, strict structure, right? They have a good structure, so that's why which is great for big teams. But long-term sustainability, maintenance is also important for larger organizations. So Java will absolutely stay relevant. Why Python is exploding now is because of AI plus data. Because Python dominates on AI, machine learning, data science, automation, rapid prototyping, generative AI, right? Most AI frameworks, if you see, which I also learned, are Python first. Because so if you're learning on LLMs, analytics, Gen AI apps, which are coming in, research, Python is the fastest path. Python wins more because of its simplicity, the AI ecosystem which is building up, and faster deployment cycles. That's why Python is moving faster than Java. Like, it's about moving and something which will stay. So I think if we put it on the career landscape, then Java equals to your enterprise backbone, if we see. But Python is going to be AI plus innovation. So it's going to be they coexisting, and the backend systems or core systems will use Java, but Python can be used for AI models, analytics, but cloud will connect everything, right? So it's not about competition between two, it's about integration. Everything will now work on an integration platform, so you should know both. And if your goal is, if you want to be an enterprise and a software backend engineer or something like that, learn about Java and cloud. If you want to be an AI, data science, Gen AI person, learn about Python. Maximum flexibility. If you want to have a lot of career options, learn both, but start with one. But even knowing basic Python and basic Java will make you more employable, is my take, personal take, more employable than mastering one. So don't do that mistake. Let's just master everything on Java or Python. Try and make a mix of both, because Java will provide you stability, like I said, but AI will obviously continue to grow. So future belongs to those engineers or tech people who are ready to handle both. Because as new startups come in, as new applications will get designed, they will continue to use both. So try to make it work. To just adding to what Anil said, but I'm adding more on the
Really
current.
spot on.
Yeah.
Yeah, really spot on, Navisha. And yeah, I completely agree. So, in the interest of time, I'll move to the last question and I'll not take any further question online
So
from
we can have
Dhruti.
another
So, the
session later.
last, yeah, the last one, Sakshi is asking about I'm currently in second year and I'm focusing for MNC companies. So, I would like to ask correct path of how to effectively prepare data structures and algorithms along with projects. Please give me correct path. So, I'll just try to because what happened, Navisha, I see that there are a lot of gurus, right? So I had huge doubt in my mind, with all respect to my teachers back in the college days, those who are not working in enterprises, right? And they become just the YouTube gurus. It is very difficult to believe in them, right? Because when I see a course myself, and if I see like someone 4 years, 5 years experience, if they started talking about depth and breadth of enterprise, I feel like it's actually hollow. It's not something very firm and it is not very strong. And that is where like I go to people like Andrew NG, right? Those who are really deep into it, right? Otherwise, your knowledge doesn't work that way. So with DSA and algorithm, because people are saying like I have done 200 DSA problems and I got offer from Google, but I did not join. Right? I've seen so
Yeah,
many
yeah,
interviews like this, and
yeah.
I'm assuming like people in this group would coming from that mindset, but that is not the truth, and that's where I believe definitely doing DSA is the right thing. I would not say it is wrong, but in a structured way. Can this DSA or algorithm doing one every day make you complete a project after 1 month, 2 months, 3 months? I would say go for it. But if it is not, then don't go blindly for these Excel based templates that I see people are circulating that do these 200 DSA and you get selected, right? These are fake promises. And I think overall, the SAR of our conversation today, it is not about just building in silos, it is building, communicating, highlighting, and then making something concrete, which means you should do a capstone project that you are able to demonstrate, not something you do algos and DSA in silos. But over to you, Navisha.
Yeah, I think Anil, although Anil has rightly pointed out, and I know a lot of you would have seen these on social media, which I have also seen, some of them look extremely fake, some can be real as well. But do understand that the Instagram reel version or the social version is to increase their likes, their followers, and all of that, right? So don't always believe on these because they will not always help you to crack interviews. So one first thing is that. Second thing is step one is you need to pick one language and stick to it. Now, whichever you are comfortable with, like Java, Python, which I already said, C++ as well. Don't switch languages in the middle of it because you have to be consistent rather than focusing on perfection. Then step two, I think, is you need to also master the core topics like foundations. Like I think phase one is
There's
around
some
foundations.
background. This is just for me or someone else also?
I think there is some background. Now it's okay.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
So I think second is to master the core topics. First is foundation, your arrays, strings, recursion, time and space complexity, right? Do those right because how the code scales, you need to understand that. The second is around, you know, some of the data structures, but linking those linked lists, stacks and queues, sets, trees, binary trees, they appear almost in every interview is what I've heard or whatever I have gotten to understand. Step three, algorithms. Very, very important. I think algorithm is going to be the future. So if you have sorting and searching, two pointers, sliding window, binary search, all of these, you will get more advanced. Phase four, graphs, which I think Anil mentioned, dynamic programming, your heaps, your priority queues. Try all of these and practice on the right platform daily. I think some of the ones which are very famous, which I got to hear from some of my technology friends, is Lead Code primary. Then there is also Hacker Rank for basics and Geeks for concept clarity. I got these three names so that you can use them. Try at least start with these three if you don't know.
Yeah.
And daily target two problems per day. Don't make 100 problems a day. Take two problems a day and solve for them. One easy, I would say, one medium. No, easy to build your confidence. I'm there, I can do it. Medium, you will have some doubts, queries. And then focus on patterns, not quantity. I've solved 100, still nothing is happening, right? So focus on the patterns, what you're able to crack, what you're not able. So the last step is that learn these patterns, not random problems, because most questions will get repeated in disguise, right? Which you might not know. So key patterns, take those around 2 pointers, like I said, sliding window, binary search, DP memorization as well, right? Once you recognize these patterns, interviews will start coming automatically to you, right? Explain your thinking out aloud, because I think to what Sakshi wants is she wants to get hired in an MNC. If you don't explain out why you're using this logic, sometimes they will not hire you even if your answer is right. Because MNC's interviews are not just testing your coding, they are testing on your clarity. What is your approach while you are taking? Even if the approach is wrong, but your answer is right, looks weird, right? So that is why explaining your approach first, discussing the time complexity or asking back questions, walking through some examples that this is what you've done or this alone will help you to double your rate of success. So I think it's a 8 to 10 week plan. I won't even say it's a year plan. Week 1 or 2, array, strings, recursion. Week 3 and 4, linked list, stacks, queues, again repeating. Week 5 and 6, trees, binary search, sorting. Week 7 and 8, I think graphs and DP, and then week 9 and 10, mock interviews and revision. That's it. That's it. Don't do more. So this is like
Thank you,
a
Navisha, so for putting this together. I know that you have some notes that you're referring to.
yeah,
Probably, I'm sure like you have done some good research,
yeah,
and this is like this is something I wanna share back with them in more structured way,
sure, sure, sure.
right? And probably because I have not done this right in terms
Yeah,
of the 60 days coding challenge. I
okay.
tried making it, putting together, but I
Mhm.
believe some of the topics that you touched, I wanna make that part of the coding challenge
Sure,
going
sure,
forward
sure,
as well.
sure.
I have one question. I'm sorry, I'll just take 2 more minutes
No
or
worries,
maybe
no
two, three
worries, Anil.
minutes.
I think it's
Navisha?
extremely late for you also, Anil.
No, no,
But
no.
I'm
I'm
good.
I'm like
I'm good.
perfectly full of energy. I can just go for next 1 or 2 hours. But
Same.
just to be respectful for your time,
Worries, no
one
worries.
thing, right? I personally believe in women in tech, right? For a balance of pressure, creativity, hard work, smart work, and everything. And I see like Priyanshi, Harshita, right? They are some of I would say the flagship bearer for this community, right? And they've been doing really good. So one thing with your experience, what is difference for women in tech, right? What is the different pressure? And then probably I believe some of the group members who are on the call today, they will be future leaders and they will be future hiring managers. Why it is important, first of all, to have diversity, and then as a woman, like how do you feel? Like how do you manage the pressure? These two things I want to talk about.
I think this we also discussed in my last podcast. If you would see Anil's last podcast, we have touched base on it, and I think it's very very important because like I see now, it's further increasing. Although we are improving in our AI adoption and everything else, but yeah, I think there is always a different pressure on a girl or a woman. Uh, we are always being called out as diversity, because for males we don't call them as diversity, but for females we do. So that's absolutely a different kind of pressure from the word only, right? Woman in tech, diversity, because I don't think I'm different from a guy at times as well. But I think it's unheard at some big companies. In some companies you would see it, but I think as a person who is now a woman leader or have actually gone through this process, right? It will always show up in very subtle ways, right? Like I think I was the only member in my corporate placement cell in college in DSC as well. So that can be one of the things, right? Like it is that a female will always have to feel the need to prove yourself more, right? Which is because you have to manage expectations as you grow in your career. It can be various forms, right? It can be in terms of responsibility of parents, your siblings, your spouses. So I think first thing is that it is always that you'll feel the that you need to do more than others to prove yourself. I don't think that's true. Treat yourself with normal pace, do what you're good at, express yourself freely. That's my real advice. Having a good boss or a supportive mentor or a community of mentors who understand what women leadership gets to the table is very, very important. There's a lot of conflict management that women do. There's a lot of multitasking that women do, which I touched base, right? No one else can do that. You have to make, like, for example, what Anil said. I was actually last month traveling to 5 different countries, but that doesn't mean that I was not doing my chores here, right? Create a system that helps or enables you to do all the things that you like. You can have helps, you can have parents, you can have so many things, but you have to design your day or life in a way which helps you to do everything that you want. And nowadays, I think everyone is supportive also, because when you're working, you need to have a mindset that you need to excel, not have tension that, okay, you have to go home on time. You have this tension of people calling you, right? Everything can be differently pursued as well. So being one of the few women in technical or leadership rooms has always been, I think, very, very important to whatever you have done in your earlier lifestyles as well. So I think that is something that you can put in, and I don't know how people who are women here feel, because this is my individual take. I won't say that this is going to be a take which is very customized approach that I have taken, but I also want to call it out with a pinch of salt that this is something that I have felt in my limited experience now of 15 years as a woman leader. So build a system that helps you to build, express yourself freely. That's important. And also, I think whether you're a woman or a male or a female, whether you are having a technical career or a leadership career, balancing the expectations around your communication style, being confident. Sometimes you are not confident about things, and you think that you're confident navigating visibility also, because once you're a woman, people always will think, okay, you're a woman leader. Is she doing this work? Is she compared? If she's getting compared to her male counterpart, have the confidence that you are doing good at your job. You don't need to prove it inherently, right? If you're good at your job, whether you're a male, female, doesn't really matter. And in fast moving environments, I would say expectations are high for everyone, but don't carry that added weight, right? So I think how I manage it, Anil, is I focus on impact, not validation. I let my results speak. Clearly out, they are measurable. I don't really care on who's saying what. If I'm right, if it's right for the customer, right for the company, I will do it. It helps you to build your credibility faster than trying to fit to any stereotype, right? Navisha will not say it's because she's a girl, or she'll not be taken right because she's a girl. She should not have the right to express what she feels. Second thing, I keep upgrading my skills. I'm always less on time, ask Anil, which he already said. I'm taking flights, I'm taking cabs, I'm doing housework. Sometimes I also use voice chat. I use a lot of those, right? While I'm cooking, while I'm cleaning at times. They're just playing in the background. So it helps me intentionally develop my skills, because confidence will come from competence. Continuous learning in AI cloud leadership will help remove your self doubt and will help you to remain relevant as well. Third thing is bring a strong community of allies and mentors. And I would always say that Anil is also one of the male mentors or male allies, right? Who believes in me, because no one is going to grow alone, whether it's a male or a female. You have to coexist. We all need to help to grow each other. If people don't believe in that thought process, I think whether it's a male leader or a female leader, it's going to get tough. Having mentors, having sponsors, peer network makes a huge difference, especially when navigating through tough decisions, career transitions, personal transitions, right? I've always felt male allies have helped me grow more. But at the same time, I've sometimes felt males have been absolutely detrimental to my success as well. I've had both experiences, but I have not been thinking that, I won't have male allies or I won't ever have male allies. It's fine. Everyone has perspectives. Someone will give you a chance, someone will not. And then I think speak up clearly. Like you said, we have Priyanshi and so many, Janvi and so many others here. Don't wait to be perfect. Girls always are disguised, right? Look perfect, do perfect, come up perfect. Whereas males or boys, you see, even if they are a particular way, no one points out. That's more of an Indian thing. If you look at US, ask Utkarsh, or there may more people who are joining from US, your presence matters, right? Being visible will help you create opportunities. Being heard in a room will help you create opportunities. If we're just sitting silently in a corner, it will not help you grow. Ask for things. Everyone will come up to support you. And last is, I try to define balance on my own terms. Some phases of work are very intense. Sometimes it can get slow as well, but planning is important. Career growth will never be linear. It will always be mixed, right? It can be like an ECG also. Consistency matters. When you're down, take help. When you are up, be humble, stay grounded, stay consistent. For a female, very, very important. A lot of females at 40 are asked to, or you can ask Anil, they're asked to leave workforce because of added pressures, emotional breakdowns, mental agonies, right? Non-supportive working lifestyles. Every male on the call should actually try to support every female who's there in the room. Create that culture. Then only the society can grow, right? Because the goal isn't to survive for a moment. It's to thrive, lead, and build more leaders. So why I'm here is I want to grow the community. I want everyone to grow and maybe see more Navishas, have more Anil. So that's our end goal for both of us. And hopefully, I think we are able to carry this. And everyone on the call should actually look at it that way.
Thank you so much, Navish. And every time when I hear your conversation, I always feel means in this big group, I see like I'm outside and other side of the table, like I'm part of this group while we are like doing this together, this talk. But I feel because of the level of authority and the level of clarity, it shows like even I'm learning a lot of new things. And this is second or third time we are coming on a call, but every time there is new to learn. So thank you so much for putting this so clearly. And as you talked about, I believe, right, we all have, and especially when I interact with this group, I remember I'll not call out the name here. When I talked about that, I'm so serious about building this community. So this gentleman whom I can see on the call today, he came the second day and asked me, Anil, what will be the charge of this course or what you are trying to do? So one thing that not everyone is doing for money.
That's right.
So people like Navisha, she's very busy. She talked about like she traveled 5 countries recently. It's very tough. Doing business travel, believe me, it looks nice, but it is taking a lot of efforts. It is not easy, right? You have to work while you travel. You have red eye flights where you cannot sleep for 24 hours even. With all those chaos in our life, if we are putting efforts, because somewhere we feel if we were given support in our earlier life, if we were able to pass it through, definitely you can also. And this legacy should continue beyond Navisha and Anil. That is the effort. And that something reflects back when you become the leader, right? You will equally think that why women leaders are important in the team, why multitasking. And I learned this a hard way. When I have just all male colleagues, it is very difficult to do the conflict resolution, right? It is very difficult to do multitasking. So this is all important. These are the life lessons, and you are lucky to be part of the conversation. So thank you so much, Navisha, for putting this all together. Means I'm going to watch this again. And any last thing, Navisha, you want to conclude? Because I don't means we have already take more than 1 hour 15 minutes from you. Any last thing that you want to conclude with?
I think that was one of the talking points that Anil and me discussed, but I think tips and trick for you guys to excel. I can just touch base on what I thought in a very short span. What I thought was like, I would just want to summarize. First point, be skills ready, not degree ready, right? Like degrees, everyone has now. Your degree will open the doors, the skills will help you to get hired. Like I said, after this, try and pick one AI course, how to use these AI tools productively, take cloud fundamentals. It can be Microsoft, Google, whatever you think is right, data literacy, automation, really important because employers will always care about what you can do rather than what you studied in your past life. Second, I already touched base, build projects, not just certificates. Instead of saying I completed a course, we already discussed, I built a chatbot, a dashboard, an automation flow using Power AI apps also you can do it. Even smaller projects matter. Don't think it was a random project. Talk about it. Put them on GitHub or in a simple portfolio. Project equals to proof that you have done real time learning. Third, learn how to explain your thinking. Very, very important. Problem solving communication is far greater than memorization. This is one of my mistakes also, which I'm telling you. Earlier, I used to think I'm the best student. I'm a scholar award. I'm a scholar blazer. Not really important. There can be many others like you. So practicing problem solving takes time. Try and do it. Explaining your ideas simply. I talked about STAR method, situation, task, action, result. Your brain needs to help you to get trained to think like that. Takes time. Clear thinking will always beat perfect answers. Very important again. Start using AI as your Siri, as your assistant, as your learning partner. We don't need all, I always think I need a person to help me plan my day. Now AI helps me plan it, right? Which meetings I have, what do I need to prepare, practice interviews, summarize some concepts, debug coding, we spoke about it, improve your resumes, take help. This community is great. We didn't have access to it. Generate project ideas. Projects or graduates now who will work with AI will always outperform people who are trying to compete with it. So rather than doing that, just try and focus on this. And I always focus on networking. The intent should never sound to what Utkarsh said, desperation. Can you refer me? A big no. I admire your career path, Anil, Navisha. Any advice for someone starting out? Relationships will always open more doors than your applications. Develop soft skills, very, very huge differentiator. And I think communication, confidence, adaptability, collaboration. Human skills are above everything. So they are the most premium skills. Target your learning mindset. I think we all need it. No one is going to get spared. Average graduate will keep for the right placements, offers, wait for the opportunity. Make your resumes on naukri.com, Indeed, search for some job internships. Top graduate will always prepare like they are already hired. Spend 30 to 60, 90 minutes on upgrading yourself instead of random Instagram scrolling, social media, Facebook. Great to do that, but I think that's a problem for all of us, even me. So spend 30 to 60 minutes in daily upgrading yourself will make it better. And your first job will not define your career. So your learning attitude will be important. Whether it's a startup, big tech, small startup, excel in that role. Be brilliant at what you do. Everyone should be forced in the room to ask your name. Who was that person who delivered this? Be a trendsetter. Always stay curious, stay visible, keep building new things. So I think that's my parting advice to everyone. And if you have any questions, I know there are a lot of questions on the chat. Anil, please do let me know if I can help. I'll try to share whatever I did have as notes with you. And then let's let Anil and me help to work back on getting these answers to you shortly, or we can have another answering session whenever Anil is good with you.
Sure. Thank you so much, Navisha. Thanks for your time, and it's always pleasure to talk to you. And I believe there are a lot of questions that came on the chat, and there were a lot of questions that came even prior to our conversation. And I shared Navisha's LinkedIn profile also in the chat. So
Sure.
go next time. Don't say just hi, Navisha. If you see something and she's building the team, and she's building a global team,
Yeah.
so definitely she can either help directly or can refer you in some of the network. So with that, thank you so much, Navisha, for your time. And I'll just stay back for 10 minutes because there are some documents I want to share with them. It's more
Sure.
about like resume template, outreach template, and things like that. But thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Anil. I hope everyone for all the questions. It was great having this platform and meeting you. And I think Anil has already shared the LinkedIn, so feel free if you need any advice or referrals. We'll keep all of you in mind. Thank you so much. Take care. Have a good
Thank you
day.
so much. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so with that, I would this was really energetic session. As I mentioned to Navisha, I learn always new thing when I talk to her, and that's what all the effort that I'm putting. It's almost 1 a.m. for Utkarsh and me here in CST, but
Yes.
that is what is making us feel good, right? Utkarsh, how
Yeah.
was your overall feedback about this discussion?
No, no, sir, it was really, really good to be honest. This was my first time in this session, and I would say that everyone should join it every time whenever it happens. And the star
Yeah, so
method
we are
that she was
keeping this.
talking.
Yeah, even I learned this last time, and this is something great way of putting clarity in your discussion. So I'll not take
Exactly.
much of your time. Just next 9 minutes. I'll just go quickly. I'll share the slide with all of you. But maybe if Rudra, if you can just share what we put together, and I will quickly jump through the slides. So go to the next one. This is important because this AB Talks is a mix of first year to final year to plus one. What Navisha mentioned, just to put together in some structure, and that's I keep publishing. So before even coming to the slide, I want to just talk about it, right? There are very important messages that is coming on this WhatsApp community. If today we were able to have Navisha, she's very busy, very top and successful leader in her community. If we grow this overall student community, a big community, right? Just think about the impact that we can create. The graduates who are getting job, for example, if Utkar is getting a job in US, you will have access to him where he can help you to coach. Do you need to come through joining a company in India and then coming to US, or maybe coming to US because what worked for him, right? Similarly, there is a group from India, Pakistan, right, and South Africa also. I see that there are other folks joining in. Similarly, what works, like if you are targeting outside India, whether US is a better choice or UAE, so that kind of a forum I want to create in the long run, and that is possible when this community is huge. If you see Raj Shamani is able to invite president, it is possible because of the community that he is carrying. So
Yeah.
if we together make this community big, and I mentioned in the last discussion also, I want to invite people like Vijay Shekhar Sharma, 197 or Paytm CEO. And that is possible when we grow this community. When with me, if you guys are putting efforts, then those who are graduating from here, they will become the champion. They will be the torch bearer and they will help to take the legacy going forward. Second, if we build it stronger, we should be able to invite big guests, big names on this podcast, on in this discussion, and that's something I will touch based on the next slide. So for the efforts that I've been doing for last 6 7 months, how many people I was able to connect. But just to talk about this slide, first year student, I want you to start building your LinkedIn, have starting basics of C Python. Don't go much into the deep, but be subscribed to these kind of events where you learn something new. Don't go for and this is a request, don't go for any paid courses, paid programs. If there is a requirement, if I strongly feel, maybe sometimes in future I can ask you. Even I'm not giving judgment of any Udemy course today, because I want you guys not only to invest money 400 500, even for any student, doesn't matter. But what is important, if that course is of 30 hours, do you really need to invest 30 hours there? So that's where don't invest your time and energy and money on any such programs or courses, rather than just follow the process. And I will strongly, before our next discussion happen in the March, probably I will brainstorm with some of you. How do we create a forum where, let's say that we start putting YouTube link, we start putting together a stream of work that we all can share together, right? This is a combined mind share that we can use. For second year, yes, I think Navisha talked about it. There are some platforms like Lead Code, Hacker Earth, Hacker Rank that you can subscribe to, and you can start doing one simple medium. And I will take her framework and put it here. But from second year onward, I think you should start solving these problems. If you're in third year, you should definitely do something which is more concrete and which is presentable. And you should start appearing for the mock interviews, resume building. So those who are already doing these coding challenges, once they are able to do it for 60 days, even I will take their mock interviews. I'll take help from some of the senior folks in this group, because I cannot do it for entire population here on the AB Talks. But I will set the process and then you guys can take it ahead from there. For final year, this is a time, and some of you for the third year and final year, you should start getting internship, paid internship request on this WhatsApp channel. And I'll continue to amplify this message to anyone and everyone that I meet. So just watch out for this space. Don't mute it. The last one is the final year where you start doing referrals. So there is a template on this slide which you can use, and I'll share what Utkarsh has also done his outreach. So probably something like that can help you for the after you are graduated, right? What you can do, I strongly suggest go for the 60 days coding challenge, be it AB talks, be it something else. But after you are able to do, you have much more clarity, because some of the things that you are not realizing, your GitHub ranking is getting better because it shows that you are committing something. Your GitHub knowledge is up to the mark. You know how to push the code. And obviously, if you are spending time, probably you can build the pipeline also. Second, you are posting on LinkedIn daily, which gives you natural, the algo of LinkedIn is working, and that is giving you the visibility. The third is once you have a strong GitHub, a strong LinkedIn, and then the mock interviews, you will be ready. I can refer you personally, right? That to get a job. But these are the important part of the process, and you all are part of this entire food chain. First year is starting first year. So I'll be working from first year itself rather than just focusing on the final year. Go to the next slide, Rudra. So these are some of our students, and I wish this will be a very long list going forward, that I will not have a space on my slides, rather than I should have a big database to manage. These are placed in different, this is just last 1 month, right? And I believe we are not including Shiva and others who got placed already, right? But they got the internship opportunity, and probably they will also be getting the job opportunities because they've been consistent, they've been picked, and this will continue to happen. Go to the next one. So some of the names coming out very clearly, and you see most of them are on the camera today. They've been very consistent. I love their commitment. I've been personally watching them, monitoring them. The moment it is 60 days, I cannot promise, but I'll personally finance some goodies for you. I cannot promise that this will continue to happen for future batches, but this will For sure, for the first batch, I'm going to do from my part, right? Because I see that commitment coming. Go to the next one. Yeah, this is the continuation of 60 days coding challenge. People are showing up, they are putting the LinkedIn message very clearly. So I love your commitment. So thank you and thank you yourself for that. Please move forward. Next one. Go to the next one. Next one. Next one. Next one. Go to the network slide. So these are the important tips and tricks that Navisha talked about. Maybe I think you will have the access. So this is the level of effort that I'm putting together. And this slide Rudra had put by looking at some of the work, some of the podcast that I did recently. So if you see, these are the companies I have connect where I can just text them and then they come and be part of your discussion. Which means if they have a job opening, I can reach out to them, I can request them, but I will not do it until and unless you're very serious. If you have not done, let's say, 2 days of the coding challenge, and if you ask me, Anil, can you refer to someone who's in one of the list here? I will refer to those where I have confidence. So, which means the serious people will get that opportunity. And if you look at the different geography, it's covering USA, Germany, UAE, UK, Singapore, which means, and India definitely Rudra missed. So that should also be here, right? By default, because that is where my maximum network is. Looking at these logos, looking at these geographies, I think, and I'm going to put effort every weekend. That is what I am committed to. And I want to bring all these leaders one by one on these conversations. I'll request them so that you have access. Now, if Utkarsh, you reaches out to Navisha, you are not alien anymore. You know what I'm talking about. So this
Exactly.
is my efforts, right? These are these are some of the efforts I'm putting together, and this is taking a lot of my energy for sure. But I love doing it because I feel this is something tangible. This gives me satisfaction. What I want from all of you, be very proactive, be very visible in your conversations, be it a AB Talks challenge, be in terms of expanding the community. Now, what you can do the next month, I want to bring someone very big, which means the community should be double folded at like what we have today. And this is possible because you guys have access to your network, so you can enhance the network. And then what I can do, I am always open for any suggestions that Anil, because you are different generation that I am. So if you give me suggestion that Anil, this is something you should do differently, probably I'll go for it. And so for the structure that I understood, all these students are connected through a volunteer channel. So if you volunteer yourself, become part of the volunteer community so that I can have access to you directly, and then probably we can go ahead from there. So with that, we are right on time. I'll ask Rudra to stop the presentation and take all the questions that are noted so far. If you stop the presentation, Rudra. And I see that some of this community is starting. So there are folks who are trying to help genuinely. So a lot of great work by Rudra because he's investing time more than anyone else. And then some of the volunteer community who came and show up every day and support Rudra in expanding the conversation. And I believe he's also partnered with the Hack Software. They also been part of expanding the channel. So one thing just to call out, we are not associated anything in monetary. So if anyone, let's say Hex or any software companies that are helping you to be part of this community, this is not at a cost. So I know that there may be folks who might ask you, but I'm calling it out. And you, when you reaches others out in your communication, this is going to be free. So please make sure that you respect why I'm putting these efforts, and please expand the community, expand the network, and let's build this community something that we all should be proud of. So that's the last thing I want to call out. And if you have questions, suggestions, reach out to me on LinkedIn, reach out on the WhatsApp. You see me as an admin of that member. But thank you all for your time. We'll meet next month after NVIDIA session that is from 16 to 19 in San Francisco. So probably I'll come with more learnings and a bit and more. I'm thinking to invite Aryan or someone of your age in the next session, but I'll decide something now and between the next event. With that, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.